I want to bring in now professor and historian Allan Lichtman. He has correctly predicted the outcome of 9 out of the last 10 most recent presidential elections using his so-called 13 keys to the White House. Professor Lichtman, it is so good to see you again. Thank you so much for coming on the show tonight.
My pleasure, but it's 10 out of 10. 2000 was stolen, as I proved in my report to the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights, but we won't quibble.
I appreciate that. Let's start with this. Has your prediction changed since Biden's debate performance and this increasing number of fellow Democrats who are publicly calling for him to step aside?
Absolutely not. What all these Democrats, operatives, journalists, pundits, donors have in common is zero track record in predicting the results of elections. And yet they claim to know what the Democrats need to do to win. My system has been right for 40 years. And here's why it would be such folly to push Biden out and then have a big convention brawl. Under my system, it takes 6 keys to count out the White House party. Look, Biden ticks off incumbency. He ticks off party contest. That means 6 more keys would have to fall of the remaining 11 to predict the Democrats' defeat. Biden gets pushed out, you have a contest, you lose both those keys, and only 4 more keys would have to fall to predict the Democrats' defeat. But forget the keys, look at history. In over 120 years, since the turn of the 20th century, the White House party has won exactly 0 elections in which there is an open seat, no incumbent running, and a party contest. And that is exactly what these folks who have no expertise in predicting elections are trying to create. They're recreating the situation in 2016 that led to Trump's victory in the first place. Now, I do have a plan B. If in fact Biden is forced and pushed out, we shouldn't listen to any of those folks. Biden should resign the presidency for the good of the country, contrast himself with Donald Trump, who's only in it for himself. Harris becomes president. You tick off the incumbency key, and the convention would unite behind her, tick off the contest key, and still have the Democrats be in a good position to win. But what all these other folks are pushing for is disaster for the Democrats. And the media has been utterly complicit in this, with their almost universal focus on Biden's debate performance and not focusing on Trump, who lied his way through the debate, lies big and small, one lie every minute and 30 seconds, who promised to govern as an authoritarian, who's a convicted felon, who's a civilly convicted fraudster and sexual abuser. Why isn't the media focusing on that, which is far more significant for our democracy?
I understand. And you know, we were tracking those almost, to your point, we were tracking those almost 40 lies through the course of that debate. So even though these feel like seismic developments, the president's debate performance and the concern within his own party hasn't moved a single key, according to what you're tracking.
Well, if they succeeded, it would move 2 keys and augur the Democrats' defeat. But the wonderful thing about the keys is they say, forget the pundits, forget the polls. The keys look at the fundamentals of how elections really work as votes up or down on the strength and performance of the White House party. Remember, all those pundits, all those pollsters, all those operatives, were telling us Hillary Clinton couldn't lose in 2016. But the keys were telling you something different. And against all that conventional wisdom, I predicted a Trump win.
Okay, and I do want to ask a follow-up on what you were saying about Kamala. So do you believe that if Biden does step aside, if he is not that top name on the ticket come November, that the only path to success, according to the keys for the Democrats, would be him to step aside now, for Kamala to have a certain number of months as the president so that she becomes the incumbent, and then she could take the White House again in November? I want to ask, would any other candidate, would Gretchen Whitmer, some of these other names we see floated, Gavin Newsom, be able to flip enough keys according to your system to take the White House?
Absolutely not. They would lose both the incumbency key and the contest key, because none of them would be chosen outside of a convention brawl. Again, I tell every one of your listeners, ignore the pundits, ignore the polls. They're often so wrong, and look at the lessons of history.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.